And over here I've got this potato that I cooked and drained off the water from, and these prawns which I rinsed earlier, which is about 200 grams of prawns in here. Now these ones are the little tiny ones that you can get from a supermarket. You can buy these frozen. I bought them fresh. They are a little bit bigger, these ones, than the tiny weeny ones, sort of medium, but I have used the big ones before. Now, I like the flavour of those big prawns, but they are a lot more expensive and you get a lot less per pack. So for these, you know, I've got a lot of prawns there, a lot of, you know, maybe 50 prawns or so. And in these smaller packs you might get about 15 of the big prawns. So it depends whether you want a lot of prawns, you know, throughout the pie, or just a few, you know, special prawns. Or don't put prawns in at all if you don't like prawns. You don't have to have prawns. Like I said, you can swap it. If you don't like smoked fish, you can use just white fish. If you don't like white fish, just use smoked fish. You don't have to have prawns. You don't have to have any of these extra bits in. This is just added extras. Keep that, and I'll rinse my plastic packing and I will recycle it at the supermarket later. So, rinse your hands, as always. So, get this. Now this is smoked haddock and coley poached. About 400 grams of smoked haddock, 300 grams of coley smoked, and then I just steam these, or I just poach them in a pan of milk. Poach rather than steam, sorry. Now this sauce, just going to pour that over the top. Make sure you get all of it. There we go. I don't actually stir it in or mix it in. What I do is I just dig down into the fish a little bit so it gets separated throughout the fish, but obviously the separation, because I tried to keep a little bit of coley, so in every mouthful you get a bit of coley, a bit of haddock, and maybe a little prawn. So I just tried to keep that separation nice throughout that dish. So that's exactly what I'm doing here, is just trying to push the sauce down a little bit. And as you can see, because I looked at that fish and saw how much there was in the dish before, now you can see that it's fitted quite well in the dish, and we've just got a nice little topping for some mashed potato here. So this is going to be our mashed potatoes. So the first thing you're going to add is a blob of salted butter. The other thing is a bit of pepper, a bit of extra flavour, and this little bit, just a little bit of your milk again. And then I'm just going to get that masher and mash down. I want these mashed till they're really smooth. I don't want any lumps in there. You might like lumps in your mashed potato with your Sunday dinner, but for the fish pie it's nice to have a really, really smooth mash. It will make it really nice texture. Now, at this point what I do is I get an egg, just a medium egg, the smallest one in the box will do fine. I'm just going to beat that up a little bit. Now the reason I add an egg at this point is because I think it actually makes when you put the mash on, you want a nice crispy finish on it. You can put a bit of cheese on top, that's fine. But if you add an egg at this point, I think it makes it crispy, it makes it brown. The yolk will make it nice and a rich sort of flavour to it, a bit of an added flavour. But obviously when you do this, you have to mix it in nice and quickly, because you don't want a scrambled egg, you want a nice smooth texture. Look at that mash, that's absolutely smooth as you like. So we're going to try method one of covering the pie in mash. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, this is a nice thing, but what you can do is you can just plop it on, you know, nice big splodges and spread it around. What I like to do is something a bit silly. I get this icing back here. And the reason I fold down the top there is just so you can have a little bit at the top that isn't too messy. so you don't end up getting really messy hands. Just move that pan. Just going to do nice blobs of mashed potato. Just bring that a bit closer to you. That side. So nice.
Mashed potatoes!
Now that's completely covered in that mash there. And I'm just going to get this very last bits here. I don't want to waste any. And that's exactly 4 potatoes. Now, it's 4 large Mary's Piper potatoes, or any of the kind of nicer varieties of potato. Don't use cheap potatoes on this, because the mash actually, it does make a difference what potato you use. Get a decent one. Get one that, you know, you can, it says what kind of flavour it is. You want something that's a bit floury, you want something that's really tasty. People think potatoes are all the same. They're really not. They have different flavours. Some of them I find quite bitter. You know, I really like this Mary's Piper's potatoes. Are lovely. So there we go. What I'll do tomorrow is I will get some Parmesan cheese and finely grate it on top, so it's got like a crispy layer on top of it. It'll be really lovely and very, very tasty, and I hope my friends will enjoy it. And I'm going to serve it with some salad, or you could serve it with veg or peas, something like that anyway. Just some nice vegetables. That should be really tasty. So this, ta-da, is my fish pie. I hope you enjoy it.
Mama's fish pie. Yeah, get your dirty corn hooks out of Mama's fish pie. This is one hot dish that your money can buy. Now you gotta heat the oil to cook the fish. You gotta use butter to grease the dish. You gotta bake the batter to make it taste good. You gotta break the eggs, boy, that's understood. I give you a portion if I